I better click on.
Okay, so it is, hello, welcome everybody. Hope you're enjoying the heat. It is July 27th at 5:30. We are starting the workshop of the town of Dolores with 3 nice chunky subjects tonight. So I will call this to order. And we're ready.
Naomi Reese did call to confirm that she would be here, but she also said she would be here half an hour ago. So
Okay.
I've not seen her, so we'll go ahead and.
And I'm sorry, for a workshop, do we need to take a roll call? No, okay. So we will push Naomi down and we'll move on to administrative business. You're going to speak to this, Lee?
Yeah,
Okay.
you're stuck with me.
But the one thing that
Nice.
before we start this, I think one of the things we need to keep in mind, whatever the fees are, is that we currently haven't raised them in a long time, a lot of them. And
Some
it
of them
comes down to
20
what we've
years.
talked about before, which is right now taxpayers in Dolores are subsidizing camping and other things. And should we actually be losing money for having taxpayers subsidize these things? Or should we actually charge the people that are using them a user's fee so we can break even on this stuff? That's one of the pertinent questions we have to answer tonight.
So I wanted to start with, instead of the beginning with just the fees, if we start on page 4.
Well, it's not, there's no pages.
Start with the final question on this page right
Okay.
here. So keep going right there. Final discussion question.
Yeah.
Instead of making them the final discussion question, let's just start there because
That's right.
it opens up the conversation, because this is a conversation, right? So all of these, it's up to you all, not up to me. I'm just bringing forward information. So, you know, those are the questions to talk about. Do we, so I was talking to
You're
somebody
in the wrong
who,
packet. Not board packet, but what you're saying is page 4?
no, you have
Actually,
your
you're
page
on 5,
5,
Chris.
supplement
Oh, I have,
on your.
is that page 4?
Yeah, so
You're-
it's this question.
And if you're in the
Final
PDF,
discussion
Yeah.
question. Okay.
it's page
Oh.
10.
Cool.
In the PDF,
In the PDF is 10.
Yes.
Copy, thank you.
Okay, and for note, anybody who's using the PDF, there are bookmarks. You can just open the bookmark screen and it'll take you to all the things. You just click on it, okay?
No.
That's why.
The town manager's still stuck on paper.
Yeah.
So that's, you know, one of the questions. So you do have, what you have in front of you, Josh, everybody has a copy, is Mancus's fee schedule and Cortez's fee schedule, right? You look at Cortez's, it's 10 pages. So they have 10 pages of opportunity to recover some of their costs.
And that's this one.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then Mancus has 2 pages, and that's where we're closer to. We have 1 page.
How
And
come these
so,
aren't in the packet?
because I just looked them up today.
Kosher, new evidence?
Yeah,
Okay, just check.
It's just our reference sheet
right.
for the workshop, yeah.
You could go get them online.
I want something to go.
So the thing is, as a policy, do we wanna, do we wanna cut people a break on fees? Do we wanna have it be negotiable like last week or last meeting? If you start to do negotiable, then you gotta do negotiable for everybody. So you'll be in here with lots and lots of people going, I need mine
I need my
too.
camping to be cheaper.
Yeah, because everybody that we pretty much that does a special permit is a nonprofit, right? So it's already that way. So, and we could decide, and this is gonna come up in the budget, right? Because you'll see when we get to the budget, like how much extra there is to play with, right? There may not be any extra to play with, which means we'll be running in the red. So these are questions to think about. Should we recover 100%? Maybe we say no, we cover 50%, or we cover 75%, or whatever we think that is. I mean, should we continue to subsidize our administrative costs? And the kind of thing that I think about is, I live on 20th Street, I built a fence, I had to pay to get a permit, just like everybody else, right? So do I want my taxpayer dollars going to everybody else, or do I want it to be equal for each person, right? They pay the fees that they So as an example, we don't have a planner, so I think last year we.
Well, can I say, and it's the difference between thinking about it, like, we all have communal fees, which is upkeep of the park, upkeep of the lights, upkeep of the streets, snow
Sure.
removal. That is communal, that is expected in the town. But to your exact example, is it for me as a taxpayer to pay a fee to subsidize Susie, who wants, or whoever, I'm just making up a name, even though there's nobody named Susie, who wants, to build on her property, and we need to send Ryan out, but now we're subsidizing her because we're not getting the fees back,
Right.
right? That's the question. Is that a communal shared cost? Or because it's her specific project, should she be paying for it?
It's up for you all to decide.
Right.
Yeah. Should staff have the authority to waive administrative fees? I would like to advocate for no, because I don't want that pressure. If people want to get their fees waived, they need to come to you, not me, because I don't want to do that. And I, don't think you can, I don't think that we should be doing that in the first place.
Yep.
As administratively. Should fees be reviewed annually? So if you look at Cortez again, you'll see that theirs are at the bottom, it says 2026. So they review theirs annually. Mancus reviews theirs when they think about it. We review ours every 20 years.
And I think given the fact that we've had 10 years plus of high inflation and costs, it's a
Yeah.
different world in 2020
Right.
and our fees are still the same.
And that's one of the things that is later in the discussion is what index should we use to say, okay, here's a baseline for us to increase our fees so that we're not behind on everything, right? We're always kind of right there in stride. And maybe it's still that 75%, not 100%, but at some point you're gonna get, am I right, Mr. Summerall? At some point you're gonna get somebody who's not happy about that. Like you gave him a break and not me.
So,
That's right.
Yeah?
since we're kind of in line with Mancus, were you able to talk with Heather at all?
Heather's been MIA.
Oh, okay.
I think there's only 2 of them, so they're like so slammed.
Yeah, I tried to get in touch with Heather for other reasons recently and could not get a hold of her, so.
I would just be interested to know
In the business fees?
if they, on the policy questions, kind of how they lean towards question 1, towards question 2. And-
Well, yeah.
I would be curious about that. But yeah, I think that it should be reviewed annually.
Yeah, I do too, that would be.
And I think that, like, question number 3, I agree. I don't think staff should have
Right.
to put themselves on the
No.
line for that one.
Right.
It's interesting to add, a few of us were at the commissioners meeting a week ago or whenever it was the 20th. It was interesting, they have the same dilemma a little bit because they were like, well, we couldn't really sell the vision that we need a sales tax in Montezuma County, right? And they laid it out and they just said, okay, everybody said no to a sales tax pretty much. But what does that mean? That means everybody in this room is now subsidizing things instead of getting a half a cent or a cent from a tourist, right? So instead of getting that and building up our coffers to pay for things, it could be raised property tax
Yeah.
that you have to pay now because we don't want to spread it out to a sales tax. So I think it's a similar discussion. Where should the burden of the cost go?
Right,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. But, like the county, they've tried to do this twice now.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
This workshop. But they do this every single time.
Yeah.
They try to slip it in at the midnight hour, expecting everyone to say okay.
Right.
And we all know it takes a year of education.
Yeah, and that's what I told them. I
Yeah,
said,
for
your problem
tax
is you didn't sell the vision.
No,
You just didn't sell it right.
no.
Because everybody that hears it's either this or that, it's just like, yes, we should do a sales tax. But when you speak on the ballot
That's how
with
we did
mumbo jumbo double speak, it's hard for people to decipher.
Okay. So I guess my question on this,
Yeah.
you know, like kind of, you know, however Mancus does it, but, um, 100%. So if it was 100%, that the fees recover 100% of administration,
Yeah, that
would
means,
these fees then be higher? Or
well,
what, are these
yeah, so
fees taking into consideration some of administration or all?
you mean the recommendations?
Yeah, the recommendations.
Yeah, the recommendations would bring us to that 100%.
To the zero, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. But, because the two sets of fees really haven't been done in 26 years, or
right.
20 years, and,
It was 2013.
yeah, there was
Is that the
another
last
one,
one?
yeah. Anyway, yeah, it would bring to 100%. It would actually land it in the person who's doing whatever the service is.
Yeah.
Right.
You're coming in and you're using Kelly as a notary, then you're paying for your service.
For the-
Bill's not paying for your service.
So then, being the devil's advocate, would people then complain that, hey, I'm paying taxes, some of these, you know, I shouldn't be paying like 100%, you know, pay part of it, but not all of it, because my taxes should be going towards some of this, does that make sense?
Kinda, I mean, your taxes generally go towards water, sewer, streets, parks.
Snow removal, yeah.
Yeah,
And,
that's
you know,
what they
people
generally.
pay their own water bill and they don't. Well, maybe they do. Maybe somebody comes in and says, I pay taxes, why do I have to pay a water bill? But
And I
no
think,
one looks at that person and is like, you're right.
and I think one of the important examples we used last time that Kelly used, and everything was getting heated, so I think it got lost, was, you know, I'm just gonna use a license, not business license, but a license. So Kelly writes it up, or somebody needs to come in, she sends a reminder and says, hey, you've got a business license, okay? That took 5 minutes of her time to send an email or get a letter in the mail. Great, done, not much cost. But now 30% of businesses in town or whatever haven't paid. So what does Kelly have to do? She has to follow up and ask again. And then she has to follow up and ask again. So it's things like that where, like, I don't want to subsidize somebody's bad behavior. I want them to pay for it, right? Or a camper that comes in, we love the campers, we love them, they're here. But if we're having to set it up and, you know, do through permitting process and it takes 4 hours, blah, 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 then we need to get money back from that event to pay for the administrative cost. Otherwise, it is just townspeople, like, you know, 90-year-old whatever, paying for, you know, extra taxes so that an event that they're never gonna see or use goes on.
That's in that case, but like water bills or water tap fees, sewer
Right.
tap fees are a little different.
They are, but I don't wanna pay for your water tap.
No, I'm just saying that like those fees, I mean, I know people are complaining about those fees being high as they are right now. When
Sure.
they're talking about building an ADU and it's like, it becomes out of reach when you're talking about separate water, separate sewer. Then you got water,
Yeah.
or you got electric and gas. Building an ADU and then, you know, us simply rate, I mean, I can speak clearly to this subject in that I just did a takeoff for an ADU. And it was 30 plus to get basically the taps involved.
I'm not subsidizing that for you though.
No, I understand.
I don't care that it's too expensive. If you can't afford it, don't do it.
All I'm saying is that as a part of this fee raising schedule, that it's different than, I'm not saying we're subsidizing it. I guess I want to know, how much does it truly take to do these water tap and sewer tap fees? You know, do those particular ones need to be raised?
And we're talking 3 a year or something.
Yeah, we don't have very many.
Can I make a note here? If you'll see on page 5, it clearly states water, sewer, tap fees, and utility rates are unchanged and not included in
Oh,
this
there we go.
workshop.
Yeah,
Those
we're
are
not-
separate because they work as enterprise funds
Okay.
and are
There
not
we go.
being discussed as such because they're related to grants and those specific enterprises alone.
So primarily, that is our cost, right? That's the boys to go
Yeah.
out there and dig the hole, buy the meter, put the meter in, then the plumber takes it from the meter pit to the house.
And inspection.
Yeah.
Inspection,
Yeah.
yeah. and those
Filing
are,
plans.
it's the cost of the, we just paid the $96,000 balloon fee on a
That's
backhoe,
right.
and so, that's a lot. And so it's items like that. So yeah, I have to tell you, it is tough, right? You look at anything that you're building, and like the ice house is $600 a square foot.
Yeah.
Outrageous.
Right.
And you're right, Chris, what you're saying, but I guess I'm flipping the script a little bit and I'm saying, well, if you want to build this, get the funds to build it, but I don't think your neighbor that's on a fixed income should subsidize your building project.
No, I'm not saying that.
And
I'm not saying that.
Yeah,
to the extent that this question applies to any fee across anything other than the enterprise fees, what you have to think about in terms of how it applies to Dolores is like, you may hear some talking point of somebody saying if you don't have the money, then you shouldn't do it, and the government is putting on like underwater basket weavings,
That's right.
whatever. That's not happening here. You kind of have to look at the fungibility of money in the budget and say, well, where do we want that subsidy to not be from the general taxes? So, it's a two-part question. It's one is, do we want to spread the burden? And two, what are we willing to sacrifice in terms of where our normal tax revenue is going to go to do that, right? So it's not just well, you're not you're not going to pay for it, or you should pay for it. There's that money's coming from somewhere, and that's what you want to think about.
Okay, you ready to move on to the fee schedule?
Yes.
Okay, so let me just start with, these are up to you.
Is this page 2 now?
It's page one,
I got
page
it.
2, yeah, after the
For general
agenda.
fees, yeah.
I number my own pages, or I get all messed up. So this is where we're talking about actual people, renting the soccer field or the skate park or all of JRP's baseball fields to do Riverfest. The ball lights, I gotta tell you, I think we pay like $129 every time they turn them on, whether you're there for an hour or 4. And so right now our ball light fee is $10. So.
Well, we did talk about years ago that we would put in timers. Is that any cheaper? Like they could turn them on for an hour and they would just go off automatically?
I think they have
I mean,
timers.
we talked about this when Val was mayor.
Yeah, I don't think so.
It's been a long time.
I know, but that was there in the 70s.
Oh. Oh, trustee. Yeah, okay, well, you're trustee. But we had talked about that as a way to save costs, which is, you use the ballpark for an hour and you don't just turn it on, you turn it on for, the length of time. I don't know if that's a cost savings.
Sure, sure it would be.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll double check on that because I think there's already timers on them.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's a lot. You'd be amazed at how much.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to kind of have a place to start, right? So in the next meeting, we will have a CORA policy to look at. And so CORA is one of the other things that are, we just need a policy that says, here's how you do it. In this day and age, there are a lot of people out there just using AI to generate CORA requests. Sometimes those CORA requests in big cities can be $30,000. And if you don't have a policy, you can only get so much, and then that's what you end up subsidizing the rest of it as a town.
Mm-hmm.
It's so kind of wacky in this world that we live in where, so we are trying to avoid that by having a CORA policy. We've been CORA'd a number of times this year. Nothing like giant for sure. I think, what's the most you've done in maybe 10, 15 pages?
Oh, no, I had one that was like 200.
Library.
Mhm.
Yeah, the library was the biggest
Oh,
one.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's also, you'll see it in the next packet, because we've written the policy, and it's actually in this one, if we want to talk about it. We don't have to talk about it now.
So are we setting fees today, or are you just getting feedback on the fees?
We have fees
Right.
on there, but we don't have a policy. So,
Okay.
you know, if you get a project that takes 100 hours,
So
you
can
can
I?
only get like
Yeah.
$3 a page or something.
I think you're talking about general
I'm just
fees
talking in
and you're
general,
talking
like
about
this
core.
page. We go through each fee?
We don't, you know, we don't have to.
Okay.
You
Well, the
can if
only
you
one,
want.
I'll just take the lightning bolt for this one since it's a very heated one from last time.
Yeah.
The business fee, I do think it should go up, but I do like Mancus, which is, it's $30 and it's a $50 late fee. So pay it on time, it's $30. If you're late, it's $50.
Okay.
And I think that's a fair, it's only raising $5 from 25 to 30. Pay it on time and that's it.
I don't even think it's on this one. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, right here.
I missed it.
I took an average, like when we were sitting in that meeting, and all that stuff, and like all the towns like around us, like it averages out to about like, I think the average, like, I would check Ridgeway and Ouray and Cortez and
Yeah,
of course
that's
Megan,
right.
it's like, the average is like $32. Like, I think Rico's like 75 for theirs, and then, you know, it's up and it's down, but
I like
like
that.
30 is in line with the average.
But I like the late fee because it seemed to me that Kelly didn't give us some specifics, but it felt like you were chasing a lot of these.
Yeah,
Yeah, so if we maybe make it, like, great, $30, not a big raise, pay it on time, we're done with it. If you are costing the town extra time and fees because you're having to chase them, I think it's fair to recoup that cost.
I think that's a good idea.
That's just my opinion.
Yeah. No, I agree with you.
It
Chris.
it gives an incentive to be on time,
Mhm.
like we all have. Pay your water bill on time, pay your electric bill on time, if you can.
And I think we need to raise the skunk trap fee. Do we have skunk traps?
I didn't know that either, and I balked about it because I could have used them.
Yeah.
But I think if everybody's tentatively okay with that, I think that would be a nice compromise.
And I'm sorry, I don't remember, is there a way to pay the business license fee online?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
Yeah,
I just couldn't
there's a
remember.
couple ways to do it, like you can call us, we can send you a direct link.
Venmo me.
You can go to the website and pay any of the fees. Yeah,
Venmo
your
me.
water bill, whatever. Venmo, yeah.
Venmo Chris though.
That's it.
So for reference,
I promise I'll pay the town, wink wink.
He accepts crypto.
every single thing we have, that every topic, court fines, licensing, there's nothing that can't be paid online. Everything can be paid.
And that gives a
Yeah.
nice record.
Yeah.
Okay, good, let's move on.
Okay, so parks and facilities, we haven't raised in quite a while, and we're not talking about a lot here either, but again, that's up to you all.
And we're only talking this, Riverside is no fee, is that correct?
Right, Riverside is no fee.
Okay.
Yep.
So pavilion, small group, would that be,
Like using half the pavilion.
100 or less.
Like Joel
Yeah,
Park?
it's in,
Yeah.
it's
Little
in
better
people
playground.
either 100 or less, or 101 and more.
okay.
101 to 2,000.
That's a party.
Right?
That's a big quinceañera.
Yeah, and we do not have, I don't think we have, because there's been no recommendation from the, we just haven't looked at it at DCC, so we need to talk about that topic.
And these
again.
also have a deposit, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
definitely. I will tell you, we have the new scoreboard.
Mhm.
The deposit for the controller is $200, because that's what it costs to replace it when you decide not to bring it back. So it has to be
You
checked
have
out.
extras in the wings, just in case?
I don't,
Maybe we should think about getting an extra.
It's an extremely niche product.
right?
Well, I'm just saying, like, if somebody loses it, and we don't have one in the
The
wings.
last one got lost, which is
Oh.
why we're in the position we're in. We have a scoreboard, it works, except the controller's from 1952, and we don't have it anymore. So it was, the school took it, and then it got lost, so, yeah.
Okay.
Can I ask a clarifying question? Are we not reviewing all of them tonight? Is that
I
understanding here?
didn't- Did I put
And
it?
if we're not, when are we deciding how we're moving forward with the fee schedule?
Or are we just saying okay to everything and looking for the exceptions we want to talk about?
That's what I would say.
That's fine, I just was wanting to be clear, like, the understanding is that we're going through, and then if there's one, there's an exception, we're making a note of it, and
I
then
think
we're
so.
moving forward
And
with
if
a
not, we'll
policy.
And if not, we'll go forward.
Okay,
Does
Yeah.
that sound good to everybody? Yep.
Yeah, so large event fee,
Do I share mine?
$100.
Yeah.
And I think, I'm hoping that we're okay with that.
Which one, the?
If you're looking at, to you, page 3, I think, the parks.
Large.
Right,
Yeah.
large park, small event, single day, multi-day. There isn't other parks in here, Chris, but I think that's Flanders, not Riverside.
What equipment do we loan? What's $25?
Let me think about it. Like if somebody needs.
A skateboard helmet?
That's a good one, but no.
No,
I don't
okay.
think that's it. I think it's more equipment like, you need a shovel or you need
Like
a.
orange
rake,
cones or
you
something?
need a-
Okay,
yeah,
got it.
yeah. Parking lot closure, so if you have a big event and you close the parking lot, I mean, that's still not a very big fee, right? Because most
Really
people.
small.
You would close the, like if you think about the upcoming second annual October bike skate celebration, if you close that parking lot for, let's say, camping, then when you have to get people other places, but you're closing the parking lot and you're getting camping fees. But sometimes you can just close the lot and, you know, it's only $25, like you said. But we're not trying to create shock, but there's not a lot of that happens, right? So, are there other ones you all want to talk about in this list about parks?
So are there,
Parking lot closure is small. I feel like whoever's gonna do that, could they stand to pay more to do that?
How much is
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
$25 to
Yeah.
close a parking lot in our park, that's pretty,
And what does that entail? We have to put out,
Cones,
yeah.
that's all.
we have to put out what?
Cones.
And not fences, just cones.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
just the parking lots.
And how long does it take typically?
Not very.
An hour?
No.
No.
But it's also like, I guess.
But you have to have somebody that monitors it, right? Somebody on whoever rents it side. It's not like
Yeah.
we stand there and make sure people don't park in there.
Well, and it's also like, there's the cost to have someone go out and put cones out.
Yep.
And then there's also like the cost of the community of like, we can't use the parking lot today. We thought we could park there today, but I guess we can't. So it would be great if we were getting, not raking it in, but getting something significant back that could then be subsidized back to the townsfolk. Half a cent per person.
75.
so the,
Does that sound, everybody else speak up.
How often does it happen?
Do you want to take that from $10 to
Riverfest,
$75?
They
JRP.
close the parking lots for those.
Yeah.
50?
Yeah.
do what?
Chris is suggesting possibly raising the parking lot closure. It's $10 now, and so we're just throwing out numbers.
I feel like it's a nuisance fee, you know? that- You know, like people don't know, like you're saying, and I wanna go to the park, and what, I can't park in the park? I gotta go somewhere else?
Are we talking about like the parking lot,
You're talking about the 3 parking lots primarily in JRP.
all three of
So is
them?
it per?
Well, it's just,
lot?
it would be per lot, yeah. So like
Oh.
Riverfest,
Gotcha.
they had the one main lot where you pulled in, right? So they could let their vendors in and people wouldn't park there. And then they had some handicap parking.
Okay.
I see.
Yeah, it's per lot.
Maybe 25 is not the worst.
Yeah.
If they're gonna take all 3, then at least it's 75.
Yeah, so I was
Okay, so we're-
envisioning blocking off the main
That would be a
entrance.
big check mark?
So, and like on the ball fields and the ball fields lights,
Yep.
Is there much maintenance to do after that? On the fields?
There's, well, it's just trash pickup primarily
Uh-huh.
for us. A lot of the maintenance is done by the Little League or whoever's using it, like Jerry said last week or 2 weeks ago. that he goes out there and cleans stuff up.
So this $20 fee is every time they use the ball field?
Right,
But you're saying at night it's $120 to turn on the lights?
right.
So the ball field lights, we're charging
Hold on.
100, or
Wait, wait,
100.
I can't hear everybody.
well, I was speaking first, so
Okay.
I'll go. So we were saying that it's 120 to turn on the lights, where we're saying here, we're only charging 20. Is that what I'm reading?
Yes, that's exactly what you're reading.
Oh,
We're
oh,
proposing.
raising, okay, got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
right, we're proposing.
Now Bill can go. Or
Now Josh.
Josh.
That was rebel, that's all.
Okay. What you got, Bill?
You were saying about the trash pickup and stuff like that, isn't that part of the deposit or whatever that they put down ahead of time?
No.
Leave the ball field clean and everything else like we found it, they get their deposit
Absolutely.
back? 'Cause
I'm talking about before. Like if someone came in and used a park, they just used it, right? They didn't say, I want to use this, they didn't pay to use it, they just came in and used it. Happens all the time on Friday nights. Then they leave whatever miscellaneous stuff they leave, and then we're stuck with cleaning that up on Monday.
So I was just going off what you said with Jerry
Yeah,
said
yeah.
last weekend, I was like, okay.
No, yeah, anytime you have a big event, they generally clean it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are the deposits? I'm not,
I'm trying to remember.
I thought there was deposits on here somewhere.
I thought so too, and now I can't
Well,
find
here's
it.
a little bit.
that's-
Second page here, large damage deposit. Second page.
Oh,
$500.
$500
Yeah,
for
that's
large
typically
group,
it, right.
200 for small group.
Which, so Riverfest this year was good. Riverfest 2 years ago did $1,200 worth of damage.
okay. What about
Yikes.
Flanders Park?
In terms of the deposit,
Or,
It's
and it's
$250.
rental, because it's not on here.
its rental is $50. It's the other park category.
Oh, God, I can't read.
Well, you wouldn't know. It doesn't say Flanders Park. It says
I'm
other.
looking for the word Flanders. I know, I read through this today. Okay.
I think, I'm trying to find what Dolores Campground charges for tents. Probably looked at it last time. Is $15 fair? Maybe it is.
Well, right now we have $5 per person, but I can guarantee you at 5 o'clock in the morning when I'm out there counting tents, I'm not, how many people are in there?
Right. It
Right.
probably changes
So-
through the night.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
All right, well,
Okay.
it's raising, yeah.
Are there any other ones that we're not agreeing with and we need to have a discussion in terms of parks?
Let's go back to damage deposit quickly.
Okay.
Are we covering most, okay, so they put the deposit in, and let's say it's a $200 deposit, but they've created more than $200 in damages.
Right.
Do we recoup that cost, or we just write it off?
We recoup it, but it's not always easy.
Okay, so I'm wondering if because a damage deposit, like an apartment or anything else, is refundable 100%, if we just should look at raising those. Because I think if a damage deposit is higher, and I can be talked off this ledge, but I think if a damage deposit is higher, people will go the extra distance to make sure they either don't damage things or they clean up after themselves. If it's just a little slap on the hand of $200, which for a big group wouldn't be much,
Right,
I'm not sure this is enough to incentivize people.
right. I would agree.
I like that idea.
You got a point.
Because if
Because they want that money back, so clean it up.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, you always want your
If they're
apartment.
causing.
that's right. You clean it, you clean the floors,
Yeah,
you
it's a lot.
paint the scuffs. So I would raise those.
Do we have an idea of absent damage, what the cost is, so we would know where that line would be?
I don't know. Like instead of 200, should it be 400, you mean?
Yeah, so let's say, assume that no park is ever damaged. What is the cost of administration of the fees?
That would be in the fee for
That's in the
park.
fees. This is just
This
damage
is if,
deposit,
when they
period.
break the main valve.
Oh, so you're not counting the damage deposit as part of the
No.
fee, it's in addition to?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
sorry.
right.
Yep.
But they
Just-
get it 100% back if it's not damaged or hurt.
I was just not sure if we were counting it that way, so.
So, yeah, is 1,400 too much? I mean, like 1,000 too much for the large? Large?
Well, Kelly, wouldn't it just be a hold on a credit card, like a hotel?
No.
No,
It has to clear.
it has to clear, okay.
And then we refund it.
Okay, got it.
Once the,
Got it. What do you kids think over there?
Yeah, I think a higher, you get your money back. So what is a higher fee? You know, I think that protects the town. I think that's good. It makes sense to me. This is not 2003, this is 2026.
For reference,
Wish it was 2000.
our only large events have so far in the last 2 years been festival or community events. So we have not had any large event, private events, if that puts anything in perspective. Everything that's been a large event in the parks has been a community-wide event. And every private event has either been a small event or has been held at the community center and has been on that fee schedule separately.
So would you suggest just raising the small one then?
No, I would not. I would suggest that if you're gonna raise them, you should raise them both.
Raise them both.
Because the larger groups is where the more significant damage comes.
Yeah.
I think also to consider would be, we have the large group deposit and we have the small group deposit. Possibly we should consider making a deposit for camping. That would be separate from, so let's say you're having large event here, but you've also applied for camping, that instead of having that be tied in, you have a camping deposit that's separate. Because that's actually where we also see a significant amount of our problems.
That's right.
Is in our camping
People
groups.
pooping on the
And
ground.
so,
Well, and that's like, it should be 1,500, but it's not all or nothing. It's not, we don't keep the whole 1,000. If they create damage and it's 200, we just
Right.
refund the 800.
that's right, same with the community center.
Yeah. I think it's
But at least
better
you're
to
not
raise
having
it.
to chase them.
That's right.
right, I mean,
Because then again, that's a great point. Because then we're having to pay administrative cost of you having to chase up for more money.
right,
What
I
is
mean,
the difference between small and large in this case?
100 people is the cutoff. So small is 100 and less, 100 and more is large. We have no small camping events. They're only associated with large festivals. So potentially by adding a deposit to the camping, you would in essence be increasing the overall deposit, half for their event
Yeah.
and half for their camping section, which would raise the overall deposit, and incentive, while incentivizing them to watch both areas.
Yeah.
I think that having the small fee go up slightly to incentivize is fair, but is probably not as key as far as
Right.
where we're needing to recoup costs.
So we're incentivizing good behavior and we're saving money on you having to follow up and fight with people for the extra cost.
Yeah, when
So-
you break like a water line,
Right.
it creates all kinds of,
So what, like 800 and 400? 1,000 and 500? What are you guys thinking?
I was thinking 1,400.
That's reasonable.
What, Bill?
Is that for your large events that you're talking about?
We're talking large and small.
For
Small,
1,400, right?
Well, it'd be, for the large,
1,000 for the small.
1,000 for the large and 400 for the small,
That makes sense.
security deposit.
I'm thinking about,
And then adding a
Sounds good.
security deposit for the camping area.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, 'cause I was looking at the damage of what she exampled of 1,200. I mean, you're trying to get most of that back, and then with the prices going up on everything, I mean, how much out of that are you actually gonna get back to put in? You know, so, I mean, is that covering the cost of the prices that are going up for what you have to replace? So 14,
well, no matter what the damage is, they're gonna get what it costs to
Yeah.
fix it. And so the hard part is if you get a $500 thing and then it's $1,250, you gotta go chase the $750.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
the only problem with that one is how do you, So an event is an event, right? There's a permit and there's an event. But if you've got 20 campers out there or tents, right? You can't, like, how do you get that back from that tent?
You don't get it back from the
Oh,
tent,
it's
you
the
get it back
event.
from the promoter.
Gotcha,
Right.
gotcha, okay.
Yeah, it's not our responsibility to,
And
or
so,
fees. I mean, as an example, Riverfest was charging $45 a night
Maybe.
for their camping fees, not their ticket fees, and they were paying $5.
Okay, all right, sounds
Yeah.
like
so then what would a good camping security fee deposit be?
$50.
It's
Per
not,
tent. Oh, not per tent.
Yeah, no, that can't
Oh,
be
it's
per
for the
tent.
I mean,
Well, do we just say X amount of campers is this much, X amount of campers? Like if you're under 20 campers, it's this much, or 20 and 50 is this much, or like some sort of a, because if somebody's like, oh, I only have 2 campers, why is it $500 or whatever?
Does the promoter know when they buy the permit though?
Yeah,
yes.
that's the
Well,
question.
yeah,
I would say yes, as of now, when we discuss camping as part of the parks contract, it's a separate contract, you're aware that you have to pay, and that you, as the host or the event organizer, you are the person responsible. So let's say you have 7 people show up, you pay for 7. If only 4 people pay you, you pay for 7. And that is already what it is with the fees that we have currently.
So you could come up with like 0 to 20, 21 to 50, 50 to 100, over 100, or something like that.
And we also have a limit because of size, right? We're not gonna allow so many, we only allow a certain amount of RVs and a certain amount of tents per space and safety.
So maybe 2 tiers or something.
yeah,
Does that work?
I like that idea.
Okay.
I mean,
I can't talk.
Not during a workshop.
I was just gonna say, try a bond.
okay, so
That's a good point though.
what do we decide?
2 tiers. You guys gotta come
Got
up
it,
with them.
okay.
Because I don't know how many is the max. It's
yeah,
not 100 certainly.
No.
2 or 3 tier,
Yeah.
Okay.
whatever works, yeah.
Okay.
And we're okay with the new fees,
Yeah.
15 and 30?
Yep. I think we stayed away from the third rail.
Okay. Okay, we're moving on to building.
Should we stop for a moment and backtrack or no?
Backtrack to,
Are you here to speak to us?
oh, yes, can certainly do that.
I don't mind listening, it's interesting for me if you want me to
It's up to you.
It's a,
We
no,
got
it's
another hour
totally
to
up to you.
go at least. So,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
We could take this to the end of fees.
And then
Do you think?
break there.
Oh, we're not at the end of fees, sorry.
No, you have 2 more zones,
Okay,
2 more
sorry.
sections.
Yeah.
My bad, my bad.
Okay,
Keep going.
so you have building fees, which haven't been raised in quite a while. And there's some of them that, we're mainly talking about the cost of having Ryan and our permit tech, what it takes. We're not talking about the cost it takes to look at zoning, but the actual fees that we're paying right now, right? Just like Ethan comes with a fee, like when you do court, there's a judge fee, there's a court fee, there's a clerk fee, and we're not really collecting any of that right now, but we'll get to that in a second. So in terms of building fees, these are just sort of the basics. The rest of them are set up by how much your project costs.
Okay, so like,
We're on this page right here?
Yep, right after camping, building.
On development and zoning.
No,
3
before
going
that.
into 4
Okay, got it, we're
on the
here.
PDF.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
so the demolition fee specifically, that's a flat fee, doesn't matter if I'm applying to demolish the Hotel Del Rio or I'm applying to break out the old planter that was here, concrete, it's flat 50.
Right,
Because it's just a permit.
yeah.
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 We're not actually
And it's not,
demoing
it's
it.
not based on the cost, your cost to tear it down, could be, but, yeah, I mean, it's, I look at some of this and go, oh, how painful is this? I'm trying to take out a building so I can put in a new building, and you're gonna charge me $500 to do that. So, these are sort of the basic fees. Like health and safety is the inspection of someone's food truck or the inspection of their business to make sure that they haven't blocked the emergency exit in the back of Speedway. Right, because we've seen that before, or they put shelves up and people can't get through there.
And again, we're talking fringe, right? Like, we don't have, how many demolition permits do you get a year?
Oh, sorry, we're two conversations. The permits, we don't have many. The fee itself covers essentially thinking about somebody coming in, pulling the fee, reviewing it with the first person, explaining how they do it. They then write up the fee, get it filed, get it scanned, make sure it's all legal. That's all it's covering, is the administrative time of doing the paperwork, explaining the process, that kind of a thing.
That's like one a year.
Yeah, the health and safeties are everyone.
Yeah.
And that's,
Dude,
what are you looking at?
I'm just sweating bullets up there.
Oh,
Nothing to change.
the health and safety annual inspection.
I was looking at the TV like, what are you?
What are you doing?
You tell her to scroll down, it's right there.
Well, at the end of the day, though, these are not big increases overall.
No, what we're doing is we're trying to, these are 100% covering the cost of the individual who's involved. Health and safety means our administrative staff schedules it, plans it, gets it Ryan goes out, does about 40 minutes of inspection, comes back, writes it up, we cross all the I's, dot the T's, we file, we make sure everything is meeting the standards of the state as far as record retention and that kind of stuff. That kind of background, paperwork and retention, et cetera, is time consuming. So increasing to $50 for both of those are specifically to cover the cost of the people working. There's no profit margin there. It is just to cover cost.
And what is temporary CO?
That is the certificate of occupancy. That is, and then we currently have, if you have an early completion, I believe they're good for 6 months. And if you complete your project early, you get a $50 a month credit. And this would increase those two products, or two lines.
I feel, and I have no validation for this whatsoever, I feel like jumping from 300 to 500 for a permit feels a bit heavy, no?
It's $25 a month because it's a 6-month product.
Oh, I see, okay.
So you're paying, it's a $50 a month
I see.
for 6 months,
Okay.
and you've added a 25, so it is a 50%
I see.
increase. So, potentially it doesn't need to be that high. If you think you want to dial that back, that's fine. That's just how that.
Keep in mind, like, this is the first year, and this is the first time that we've done this in a really long time, right? So
15 years.
we may look at it when we come to it. So what I would like to propose is, there's a whole bunch of things we do on the first meeting of the year, right? Just like you have to set your budget. This could be one of those things that we just say, okay, up front, what's our CPI, Consumer Price Index, or MIG, which is a different calculation done by DOLA. And we could just put that in our first year's agenda. So we may look at this and go, okay, this is the cost, but this might be an area where you go, all right, how do we incent businesses to move in? We say, hey, we'll waive your whatever fee.
Yeah.
But that's for you all to decide. And we could, this year is kind of like, okay, we're doing this, but we may get pushback like, I can't pay $1,000 for the deposit. It may be too high to, if you're prohibiting people from coming and doing things and building things with your fees, then that's not necessarily something we want to do. So, but we are so far behind right now, we need to do something.
A reset.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we can look at it annually. If inflation goes down, then you could cut back the fees.
Okay, and what is ICC valuation? You lost me on that one.
Okay, so that's international, the building code.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And so it's international code compliance. We're on the 2007 code, and we are gonna, actually, on our fees are 2007, but our code is 2021, and we will be talking about going to 2024. I've been talking to Ryan, he uses a 6-year cycle, so you go up every 6 years as opposed to every 4 years while you wait for them to work out the kinks in the process. So there's a table that says your value, and you guys find, people that build probably know this, okay, I'm doing $50,000 worth of improvement on my $300,000 house, it costs this much. I'm gonna rebuild, I'm gonna add another room, it costs $200,000 on my $300,000 house, it costs a lot more. So, yeah.
I was gonna say, so to clarify why we're in this situation in particular, is at one point in time, somebody wrote a resolution that specifically tied the town into the 2007 fee schedule.
In
For
perpetuity.
eternity, yeah.
Instead of saying, like, what we want to do is we want to change the language to say the town will follow the current ICC valuation table. Not that we're going to say we're going to follow the 2021 valuation schedule so that in 6 years we're doing this again. We want to just say when it changes, we change with it. You saw that with Cora, when the state changes its fees, we change with it. Instead of us revisiting some of these like very across the board standard fees, we stay with the standard. It changes, we change with it instead of being stuck like we are now in the 2007. So it's just a matter of linguistics and getting us back on track to be standardizing along with the rest of the state.
Yeah, it's a good
Board
point.
was really into the
Thank
Mayan
you.
calendar back then.
Dude, killing me, I know.
Dumb question, but moving back to the demolition permit real quick, about how does the town distinguish between the Rio Grande and a planter box? Because aren't there specialty demolitions where you're dealing with the specialty inspections, materials that are hazardous, blah, blah, blah?
And to be honest with you, that is something that Ryan and Ann handle. I don't,
Because I'm just thinking administratively, like, the town would have to then say, you have to have hazmat.
and those, yes, there would be specific,
Yeah.
with specific guidelines. That is not my
Not
area
my-
at all. That is Ann
This is-
and Ryan's specialty. I don't do enough
Yeah,
with
this
permitting
is
to
just
give you
the,
specifics.
in order for us to talk about what the demolition entails, the things that you need to show that you've done, like asbestos, right, that kind of stuff on a bigger building or a smaller building. You want to demolish your planter, go to town, buddy, don't break your bat. So, it's really around, that's just the two of their, they each take an hour to look at the paperwork or whatever. Sometimes I do that, and that's just to recover that part of it. The rest of it would be,
In the building permit process.
Yeah, right.
I'm just,
Yeah.
that's what I wanted to clarify.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, it's like, some buildings are gonna take a heck of a lot of
Right.
administrative.
like when we took down Old Town Hall.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
Gosh, we talked about the asbestos about that for a while.
They did it, yeah, and then didn't have it for.
And then, that's a good question, because that scheme is pretty confusing.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay, so what are we thinking about these? I mean, in the big picture, these are kind of small
I
increases.
mean, this whole page looks reasonable to me too. They're not big increases.
No, they're not. Okay, anybody seeing anything they don't wanna, or they wanna talk about?
Yes, sir. Yep.
We're talking about, not development and zoning, because
Yeah.
just the building piece.
I've moved forward.
We've moved forward to zoning and development. Okay, just a little bit about this, right? So we've had a significant amount of requests to build things, and we do not currently have the expertise. So at the last meeting, I did the conditional use permit for Dave Blackburn, and Sarah did Laney's, right? So Sarah's cost about $700, mine costs about $200. So we don't have the expertise we need currently, which is why we hired out. And so that's why you're seeing these fees. The plan, when Ann retires, right, so Ann will be leaving voluntarily
End of this year.
at the end of this year. So Danielle has already worked to replace all of her utility skills and the other items, court, other stuff that Ann does. She is not necessarily doing building tech. She may, but that's not on the slate right now. We would like to get a planner, building tech, someone that's more on that side. That's something that I would like to request of you, just because, can I do it? Yep, in the next 5-6 years, I will be an expert. just based on the number.
You mean
But what
hiring
happens when I
somebody
leave?
into that position
Yeah,
Like a part-time person.
right, exactly.
and then make it
Yep.
full-time to do a code enforcement?
It's a possibility for sure.
What's David Dowdy doing? Let's get him here.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why you're looking at these kinds of fees, right? And so when we first started building, we didn't talk about this kind of fees because we weren't there yet. We just knew we needed help. And so now we've seen some billing and we're like, holy crap.
This is complex.
Yeah, it is pretty complex.
Okay.
And I will tell you that our land use code is complex. That's part of the problem.
Yeah.
There's so many contradictory things in it that, you know, you get a professional and then you have to get a lawyer. So.
And then I'm confused.
Right?
So part of that development and zoning includes the professional services. And so recognizing that some of these permits are coming with the initial, like to, you know, it would be an initial fee, but if you needed extra, we still
Right.
needed to then go beyond that, then it would roll over into the professional services costs, which would be letting the individuals know upfront that they're going to be billed
Right.
for the services that we are incurring to work through their program.
And these estimates, to restate, are break-even estimates
Yeah. Well, yeah,
at this point.
stop laughing.
So far beyond where what we are collecting is
Right.
what
Right
we have
now.
spent
No, I'm just saying,
on
we're not
our-
padding this to make money.
No,
We're
right.
asking people to pay for
right.
their project.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, at this point, we have spent so much more money on these projects than we're even in the ballpark of
Which
recoup.
is not really, okay.
Because we weren't, you
Sure.
can't, you know, hey, you gotta pay $200 for us to look at your site plan and then go, hey, we forgot to tell you, this isn't within that code of that zone, and so now you gotta pay $2,000 to get that done, right? Since we didn't say that up front, it's not very fair to then go, oh, I'm sorry. Because I will tell you a story. Lainey, when she was in Europe, got a bill from a shyster, old school word. She's like, I don't think I can, she called me, she's like, I don't think I can afford to do this project if it's gonna be $9,000 in fees. And so I'm like, send me every email you got. And you can see right on it, it's like townofdolores@usa.com.
Oh,
So,
no.
you know, it's a scam, but man, was it.
Oh, wow.
So, right after that, I called Dave Blackburn and I said, if you get any of these, we don't do this. We're not sending you
Huh.
from the plan, we don't have a planning and zoning department that's
Well,
gonna
it's
send
funny,
you a
she called me
separate
too,
bill.
and she goes, why is it so expensive?
Yeah. I'm like,
I
it's
was
not.
what are you talking about?
Yeah, it was a scam.
Oh, I'm glad you guys
Oh,
caught
my
it.
God.
Jeez.
That's the kinds of stuff that we're running into now because it's so easy with AI to just pull the logo off the website, put it as a watermark and say, here's the bill they pulled off.
Gosh.
The chairperson's name, they got her address, the first couple ones where the address was wrong and then it got corrected. And they just kept saying, and then they were like, wire transfer this now or we're not gonna do your project. We're not gonna allow this to go on. So she was like, what in the heck?
Wow.
And then after I called Dave about a week later, he goes, oh, I got one of those too. And so that's kind of crazy.
And who's Dave?
The
You got this.
Dolores experience. Well, he got his, not the same one, no. He got it for his, I'm sorry?
You got a different scammer?
No, it's the
Same
same
scammer, but
company.
Specific to his
His
project.
property, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
insane.
Crazy.
So those are the kinds of things that we're dealing with, which is why you might see some more cyber protection and Cora and those kinds of things because we're getting stuff like this.
Yeah, I'm getting emails in our town email about like this very topic. Oh, you were talking about short-term vacation rentals, and let me talk to you personally. It's like, whoa.
I get so many.
Like,
Yeah.
listening into all these
Solicited.
meetings.
Yeah.
I think that
Flock
news
is listening. I got an
after.
email from them just today.
Yeah, got
Who?
an email.
Flock.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Strange.
Well, your phones listen to you, so do your computers.
Okay.
Okay.
Is anybody, you have any questions about these fees specifically?
No.
Okay, so when people come to us now, we'll start saying, okay, if we have to do these things.
Yep.
And that's what that first thing is, right? The
Lay it out.
$50 to meet with us to say, here's the things you're gonna need. And as a result, you know, you're gonna have to get a planner or an attorney or whatever. So that, go ahead.
We don't necessarily need to vote on these at the next meeting?
Yeah, at the next meeting. This is just informational, right? So we'll put this all nicely in a tidy little package.
With the vote.
We'll put this together in
Okay.
a tidy little package.
So then the actual new policy
We'll
takes
have-
effect after we.
Right,
vote
so
on
she and I are both taking notes about what you're agreeing to and what
Are we
you're
having an
not.
earthquake?
No, it does sort of sound like it, doesn't it?
What is happening?
Is there a big Jake
Is it
break?
gonna come through the ceiling?
I'm not.
What's historic preservation?
That's like if I want to make my house listed in the historic.
Oh.
Yeah,
So it's just permit fees for that?
yeah. That's like we would have
Have
to
you already
go
done
to somebody and,
Someone else did.
Someone
I don't
before
have
you,
to.
yeah.
yeah.
I saw your plaque.
Okay,
Bill?
oh, sorry, Bill?
So, with all these that we're gonna be voted on next meeting, right?
Right,
Next time.
Next
So,
meeting, yeah.
With all the upcoming projects that we talked about in the past, is this correlate with them too now before they, because they've already got their plans in, or?
yeah, so, no, we can't go back and charge
Going forward.
these fees for that work. We've been charging them something nominal compared to what it's actually costing us. Just like when the school did their plan and they had drainage off the back, we had to go hire a separate engineer because there was a disagreement about where they were dumping their water. And so,
Which we have to pay for.
right, which some of those fees we do charge the school back. And in the case of building, and we need to get an engineer, then that would also get charged to them by the hour.
Okay.
So, okay, that's the first one.
Okay, let's have names this week.
Okay.
You actually didn't address the final topic, which was
Oh,
the
sorry.
annual fee review with inflation
Oh,
adjustments.
yes,
And do
yes.
we want to look at the
Oh, right,
difference between the MIG and the CPI?
yeah. So that's this annual fee review and inflationary adjustments. So there's two ways to do it. CPI is what everybody's familiar with, right? That's what they talk about in the federal government, Consumer Price Index. The municipal inflationary growth is designed for Colorado. In my research, these are only 1/10 of a point off, right? One's 3.5, one's 3.6. So what we would propose is that we would pick one of these and, like I said, Colorado, the option one, Colorado Municipal Inflationary Growth Factor, MIG, is determined by the Department of Local Affairs. It does not adjust for Front Range, rural, eastern, it's all kind of the same. I will tell you that things are cheaper in the Front Range because you have a major highway. We're 4 hours from really good travel. So we'll buy chemical stuff and pay just as much as we paid for the chemicals to get it shipped here. So this again is, if you look at these two things, I mean, you have the one for Colorado or you have the one for the government, nationally recognized, updated monthly, commonly used in contracts and financial agreements. And the other one is really designed around Colorado itself. So any particular?
And you said they're only like a 1 point different
Yeah.
between the two.
Yep.
I mean, if that's the case, I'd be more inclined, I guess, to option one.
Well, didn't we also say we were just gonna review these every year? Or are you saying this is
So
an
it would
automatic?
be a
So
dollar
ideally,
one.
what would happen is that every year, we would pick a date, whether it was gonna be the
Okay.
date of the budget, whether it's gonna be the first of the year, that's the day we're gonna pull the CPI or whatnot. We're gonna pick that number, I'm gonna calculate the difference. It's gonna come to you in the same format, and you're gonna be like, yes, 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 we think we need to
Oh,
change
okay, I
that.
see.
That way, we're not spending
Mhm.
hours where you have a plan. It's a slow continued growth
Based
that
on
is in
facts,
line with overall inflation. And then each meeting, whether it's at budget season or the first of the year, we do a review where we say, yes, this has been working for our community, and yes, we're increasing with inflation.
I like option
Check.
Or the board can opt to not break some of them.
Yeah,
Right,
Right.
Right.
You know,
but you're
keep
just
them-
gonna give a recommendation,
But-
and we can say no.
Yeah, at least you have some.
ideally, right, we
guideline.
are setting a, like, we're trying to set a precedent so we don't get behind again, right?
Sure.
Every one big jump now, we get us on a schedule that we're increasing with inflation, trying to recoup costs. It's transparent to the community that they see that we're not doing $5, $10, $12 each time, but that it is in fact in line with inflation. And then we do a quick review at either first of the year or budget time so that it aligns with our finances.
It's always good
It
to have
keeps
some
it clean.
data to back it.
Okay.
Yeah,
And you liked option one?
I do, just because
Because it's
it kind
Colorado-based?
of Colorado-based, and, you know, it's a point, like, you know, it's not that much, but
yeah.
Yeah,
What do you guys think?
I'm in agreement with that.
Okay.
Okay,
Last
option
one.
one it is.
Perfect.
Ciao. Period.
So now we're at the end of this one if you want to.
Yeah.
You can have this, or you can wander about, which is what I
Okay.
normally do,
Or maybe do both.
right?
Well, first, apologies for not being here right at the beginning of the meeting. Sorry about that. My name is Naomi Reese, and I am the candidate for House District 59, which is Archuleta County, La Plata County, San Juan County, and most of Montezuma County. It's not the very northwest corner, that's HD 58, it's Larry Down Supla. But I do have all of Dolores, Cortez, and Memphis, so I have most of the county. I'm running because, aside from, thinking that perhaps I'm the right person for the job, Southwest Colorado is entirely ignored at the state level. And I want to be a much louder voice and to make sure that, it's something that you guys probably come across every day, unfunded mandates. Denver comes up with a great idea, maybe a great idea in the title, and a zero fiscal note. And then they send the concept out, they approve it and send it out to the municipalities and the counties in rural Colorado, down here in Southwest Colorado, and it's just not going to work on the ground. I've been a land use consultant, I've had my own, so I'm a planner. I have had my own company for 35 years in Southwest Colorado. Most of my work has been in La Plata County, but I've also worked in Montezuma County and Cortez, Pagosa, and Archuleta County and San Juan County. So I've worked all over this district. I'm very familiar with codes. I'm very familiar with how to read codes and how to look at codes and go back to my clients and say, your idea is great. If we just tweak it a little, it's going to, it's approvable. Or to say to them, this will never fly, and here's why. And I sometimes turn into a therapist and help them feel good about having to change what they're proposing. But then my job is to work with whatever government entity it is, whether it's a county or a town or the state or the federal government, whatever we're looking at, from individual, something simple that needs to go through a code all the way up to wetland delineations and other federal floodplain situations, whatever is needed for that particular project, and making sure that it's approvable and that it does get through successfully. I've had a lot of clients who go through the process and are very frustrated and dismayed by the amount of time it takes and the costs associated with it, the fees. You guys are really amazingly fair with your fees. I was sitting there thinking, this summer at the beginning of the summer, I was planning a memorial service for my mom in the town I grew up in, and I wanted to rent a little gazebo, and was told that it was $400 to rent that gazebo. And I also had to get event insurance, which I don't even know what that is. So I ended up being the people who just used the park without paying anything. There was only 20 of us anyway, so it really wasn't probably that big a deal, and we made sure to clean up after ourselves. But so working with the codes is something that I do all the time. I end up writing documents all the time, setting up homeowners associations, writing covenants, shared interest communities, their governing documents, whatever it is. And so I'm very familiar with looking at perhaps a piece of legislation and saying, yeah, great idea, great title, but then reading the detail and being able to imagine or figure out what is going to happen when it gets imposed on Southwest Colorado, which is extremely different from the Front Range. If nothing else, the Front Range has functional infrastructure in place, ready to go for a lot of things that we just don't have here. And there's a big difference between 4 lanes on every side of a divided city street that has curb gutter, sidewalk, utilities in place, and down here we're talking about none of that and a gravel road. And so figuring out how to convince the ruling entities who are very much thinking about urban development and being very urban centric in all things, and being able to be a loud voice so that they hear that when they impose that on the entire state, it is painful for small communities. It is painful for us to have to figure out how to pay for something. And a zero fiscal note at the Capitol almost never translates into a zero cost for us down here in Southwest Colorado. So that's my main thing. My experience that I'm bringing to it is not only having been a planner and a land use consultant for 35 years, I've also raised my kids in La Plata County, been through all the school systems, done tons and tons of volunteer work that was kid-centric. I've been a 4-H leader for the entire time that my youngest was growing up. I also went during the downturn of the real estate market, I was already a certified mediator, and I was mediating land use disputes, and I turned that into mediating divorces and specializing in divorce with children, helping people create really communicative, cooperative, co-parenting plans that would be in their children's best interests, and working with them to say, hey, I know you hate each other and don't want to talk to each other, but you still have kids that you need to deal with, and figuring out how to get them to put their children first and figure out that piece so they could be good co-parents, and then letting them fight about the $100 cell phone bill or whatever it was. And so I bring that sort of mediation experience and being able to communicate with a diversity of viewpoints and a diversity of interests. I've been on the La Plata County Historic Preservation Commission for 15 years. I'm the vice chair. And I am very much, I believe that understanding the history and the culture and the geography of a place is critically important to how that place is governed. And understanding, during this campaign, I have been all over the place. I'm trying really hard to talk to every town and city council, all the county commissioners in the district. I've met with fire chiefs and police chiefs and sheriffs, and then just being out there at all kinds of community gatherings. So understanding what is in this whole community is, I think, critically important to understanding how you have to represent the district in Denver. I was in Grand Junction at Club 20. I'm also a member of Club 20 on agriculture, education, and trying to get on public lands, but I'm also on the education, education, agriculture, and one other. Anyway, I was driving back on Friday night and went through Ridgeway at 4:30, made it up to Red Mountain Pass about 10 minutes after the mudslide, and turned around, went back to Ridgeway. I was feeling a little bit sorry for myself that I had to add a couple of extra hours to my trip home. But I came down out of Rico, I stopped in Rico and took some pictures of some of the historic buildings, and I come down out of Rico and there's a county sign. It says Montezuma County. I'm like, I am nowhere near Dolores. And what is happening here? I really thought that the county line was much closer to Dolores. And so I was like, well, this is why I was sent home this way. So I had an understanding of a 30-minute drive in Montezuma County, which is in House District 59, and to see how beautiful that road is. I mean, I've been on that road before, but it's been a few years, and to see how beautiful it is, and there's, scattered homes, and to really understand that there's this incredible section. I saw some mama elk running with their newborns and their newborn calves, and I was like, wow, this is just an amazing gem hiding here. And maybe, I get the sense in Montezuma County sometimes that people want to be kind of left alone to live your lives and succeed on your own. But, you know, having that as an asset and a resource to your community is incredible. So I was very grateful that I had to do that. So I won't take too much more of your time. I'm happy to answer any questions you have about my experience or where I'd be coming from. I will always be putting the Constitution first. I feel like the people of Colorado are asked an awful lot to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for litigation on bills that was questionable in terms of the Constitution, but got put forward anyway, and then has years of this litigation. So I will be trying to put that at the forefront so we can avoid that situation. And then also as much common sense as possible. My mediation business was called Common Sense Mediation, so it's not a new concept for me. And I will give you cards so that you can go on my website and see a whole lot more information about me and my background and articles in the news and my position on various topics. So, do you have any questions?
Thank you for coming.
No, definitely.
Sure.
Check out your website.
Thank you so much for letting me speak, and again, apologies for being late.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good luck, Art.
Sure.
All right, Lee, are we talking now about Cora?
Cora.
Cora? That darn Cora.
That darn Cora. Yeah, let's talk about Cora.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah, go.
Question? Because she just brought it up. Do people who do events in the parks, do they get their own event insurance?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
She mentioned it, I'm like,
Yeah.
Or, I mean, big events, right?
right.
Escalante Days.
Not if you're renting, but
JRP.
Pagoda or whatever.
River, River Fest.
Large events. Is it a requirement or it is required?
Yeah.
Otherwise
Like,
it's
think
not.
about the chainsaw contest.
Right.
I called Sursa, our insurer, because I wasn't sure how that was gonna go, and I go, hey, how do we insure this chainsaw contest? And he's like, what?
What?
And he goes, wait, I've heard of this. I'm like, yeah.
Okay, all right.
So yeah, events, typically you name the town, like the town requires their insurance to name us also. That's how it works.
Okay, so.
Anything can happen. I was at a bicycle race 8 years ago in Shoalo, Arizona, and like Masters 50+ group was rolling out at a neutral start on a road that was coned off in a lane closed with police escort, and some guy in a truck high on drugs plowed through them, smashed into a telephone pole, and then backed over them and drove off. And the event promoter, a good friend of mine, is still dealing with the repercussions of that. Yeah, you want that event insurance.
Thank you for that pleasant story.
Yeah.
We got a bike race coming up on Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not even like him.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're on this particular item.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So as I kind of said before, there's a lot of things going on with Cora, and, you know, we are not in any way, shape, or form trying to take away people's rights to see what they're open. If you look at anybody's email in this office, you will see at the bottom where it says, this is open, this is an open record, so if you don't want us to know something, don't ask us, right?
Right.
And so this just puts a policy, and it's like, you know, the policy's on the back, if you had a chance to look at it, or I shouldn't say the policy, the actual form that you would fill out to get your Cora request. But, you know, just so we're clear, the policy does not expand or limit the rights provided under Colorado law. We are a statutory town. So in the perfect world, there's like, I don't know, 60 books in Danielle's office that talk about, you know, when I always quote, look, Colorado revised statute, Colorado statute. When I quote that, that's what it's for statutory towns like us. So in theory, we could do no ordinance and no resolutions. Well, you'd have to have resolutions for police, but you could run your whole town based statutorily, like just take this.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime we're doing an ordinance, we're making an exception to that statutory.
And just to restate, and tell me if I'm wrong, if you have town email on your phone, we get Cora and they wanna take communications, right? They can take your personal phone.
Not necessarily your personal phone,
Yeah.
unless they have some reason.
So if you have your email on your phone, they can't take your phone then?
Not unless
And
they have
look at
some
your
reason
text.
to like be able to prove to a judge that you're hiding something.
Okay, got it.
Like, they can't take your phone. And even then, that would be kind of a stretch.
Okay.
But to clarify before we start this conversation, the point of this is that we do not have a policy. We follow Colorado Revised Statute 24 relating to Cora. We want to have a policy that establishes our in-house procedures clearly and defines exactly what actions we're gonna be taking. That still align with that statute, but is our town policy to help protect us.
And from like a real simplified perspective, like, so you've got section 24, or I think it's title 24, I can always get the mixed up. Title 24 is what, and there's like a little bit of how, mostly how not, and then a policy is how. So, we already have the what, and we just don't have how on paper. We're allowed to put how on paper, and that's what we have to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes sense. Okay, are there any, I could certainly go through, I've highlighted a couple of things for myself, but is there anything in here that you're like, wait, I don't understand? Or, what are we going to do specifically that's different? By statute, we provide the first hour of research and the retrieval of documents the first hour is no charge. So if it's something simple, then it's great, but if it's like those things I was talking about where you have $30,000 worth of requests, that's hundreds of hours of work to get that far. So
It makes sense.
keep policy.
It feels really comprehensive and clear cut, for example, when responsive records are publicly available through the town's website,
Right.
then they'll tell you, go look at the website, like,
Right.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one, it's an interesting, not just Cora, but all of our stuff, right? You can find all of our stuff online. You can fee schedule, you can pretty much get into anywhere and find out what we're specifically doing. And so, it is a space like, I went back to last month's agenda and looked at the budget information more thoroughly so that I can answer questions if you all asked. So there's lots of places that you can get information besides just calling us. You can always, well, we won't talk about that quite yet. We'll talk about that in a second. So if you look back to those discussion questions, so again, we're updating. We're on a way old fee schedule where we got cored by the library, and the person that cored us wanted so there was an email that went to all of you and me and Ethan, and they wanted a copy of each one. So we spent lots of hours sending them every copy to every person, right? Looking for something to be different. Which of course it wasn't, but that's your prerogative when you quota somebody. And so in situations like that, that's why it's another reason that we want a policy, right? So that you know what you're getting into before you. So we estimate what it'll cost. Kelly would do that. And then you would have to pay half up front, because what happens to us still, just like when you think about a deposit and then the thing is over and now I gotta chase, if I give the information, I am not gonna get paid.
That's right.
Because
Like paying your
I already
bill
got
up.
it, yeah.
Yeah.
So we're looking for a 50% deposit
Yeah, okay.
once we get past that first hour.
Does that align with the state statute?
It does.
Yeah,
And I actually spoke to quite a few people at the education I was at last week about this, because they were finding that having the deposit really cut down on the amount of bots that people are being used, because they're using bots to core accounts, and you putting them information basically into a database. If you say I want to see a copy of every email from every living board member that you have. And then we're gathering all that information and they're just putting it in a database. If I say that's gonna cost $30,000, 15 up front, those bots are, then those requests are getting withdrawn. So what they have found is that doing the deposits first is limiting a lot of the bot access
And what is the
requests.
bot trying to find?
They're just creating database. It's
Oh,
you gather
data
information and you database it for future.
That's dirty.
And
That's probably
so,
why Laney got the,
right, so the
requests
goal
and
is
all that.
essentially, we want to try to get this,
Yeah.
one, a standard procedure, but we also want to limit, we want the people who are asking for information to be real people who are asking for
Sure.
information, not a bot. And if a bot wants to do it, that's fine, but then we also want you to pay for it.
that bot.
As long as they can tell what picture has a fire hydrant in it.
Right.
Yeah.
And so,
That's right.
it's about trying
Where
to
are the
streamline
motorcycles?
some of those processes, but it's becoming more and more of an issue, and that was one of the hot topics, is that these bots are hammering some of these communities with 15 to 20 requests a day, hours and
Oh my
hours of
God.
time. They're having to hire new staff members just to manage the bot act, because there's so much data collection happening in these
Wow.
communities.
I wonder if it's coming from overseas or.
Oh, you know it is.
Yeah.
Well, like companies, like I was talking to Bill Johnson the other day, and he just got through a big thing about AI, and you're at a casino, your gambling history, your name, your email address, and your phone number is worth $38,000. FanDuel, they don't make money on gambling, they make money on selling the data they get. Like,
Wow.
all the grocery store stuff,
Crazy.
big box stores. Bastards. Yeah, all the loyalty program and all that stuff, it's all about data mining, they sell that, that's an extra revenue stream.
So,
Just kind of go quiet, I wanna go dark.
Right.
I need to get off social media. Yeah,
So what I
okay.
would say, just for reference, is everything in our policy aligns with Colorado statute. One of the things you'll notice very specifically that's different than a lot of policies is that we are strongly recommending that people use our form, but there is no language in the Colorado statutes that mandate that they use our form. That is another method that people have been using to eliminate bot requests, is that if you don't use their form, when doing all the research, we have found that there's no legal standing for that. So we are not putting that in our policy. We're putting a strong recommendation to protect ourselves. So that otherwise, you'll notice that everything in our policy does align with the statutes, and the statutes are cited within our policy.
And we'll vote on this next time.
This policy would actually, we can do a resolution, or we can just say tonight that you would like to vote. I mean, you can't vote tonight, I
Yeah,
guess.
we can't vote tonight.
Yeah, but you would just be a go into, we
Okay,
don't need to
yeah.
have a resolution. You could vote on it next time.
So if you're gonna collect the deposit, people don't necessarily live in town who might request a Cora, right? So would you accept a credit card?
Yep, you
at
can pay
that point?
online, you can pay via check, you can pay credit card online by calling in, you can pay on a check, you can pay cash, you can pay on the internet.
You can
And we
Venmo
wouldn't do
Chris.
anything until it cleared.
That's correct. And then the other issue is you have, you may not know this, you only have 3 days from the moment you get the receipt of the.
Timely bots.
Yes, you have 3 days to get all this
Timely
information.
bot.
And so the clock starts when the check clears,
Wow.
then you begin.
That's
And
crazy. We're
then
in
you
that-
start your work. If you need clarification or
Oh.
request clarification, the clock stops while you're waiting for response. The clock restarts, and you have 3 days. Otherwise, you have to file and request extensions. So it's a very timely, and you're really under pressure. You have to basically stop every other piece of work that you're doing to
This
get
makes
these
me
done.
yearn for the,
So how do you keep track of the time?
So since I usually do the core requests here, as soon as I open the email, I start the clock. And I write it right on a piece of paper, and then I start engaging with the individual, collecting an idea of how long it's gonna be, start doing those things, and then, unless I have it's paused, if I go to lunch, that clock's running. If I'm at home at night, that clock is running.
Really?
It stops if I say, I need clarification, send, that clock stops until I open the email again.
yeah.
When it gets to me, but the clock starts the second I open the email and start
It can be
working on it.
crazy, if you think about it. If you have
That's
3 days
insane.
and we're in the middle of budget
It
season.
really is.
Yep,
I know, especially when you're, you gotta sleep.
right, and so, yeah, perfect example was the one that we got this year from the library. I had to review every single employee's every email for years to see if there was a mention of the individual in it, the library in it, the engagements discussed in the
And I'm
process.
guessing you didn't find much.
But I had to review every employee and every board member's email, every single thing that was said.
Oh, gosh.
And then it ended up being 120 documents, I believe, that we sent.
It was a lot, and then, on that timeline, then there's the timeline for what the few couple of things that were blacked out or, confidential, and going back and forth with that person over why that was confidential, and the town footed the bill to me to
Yep.
be like, no, here's why.
Yeah,
How much did this core request cost?
Well, we're not allowed to charge legal fees, so any information that we request, that is seen by the town, and then my time. And I think
this
we got
person has to pay?
$100 for it.
This person had to pay?
You think he paid $100 maybe?
Yeah, and I
That's
billed at
ridiculous.
least $300 for that.
So just cost taxpayers on fixed income $10,000 or whatever.
Whatever it is, yeah, I mean, the whole thing is that
Thanks.
it's the
Thanks for
research,
that.
it's the redaction, it's creating the record. The records are very specific, how we have to present it and receive
No, I'm
it.
just saying,
Oh,
for 100
no.
feet, for all the documents. and
But
whatever,
yeah, I mean, if you think about how one simple issue, how many hours that probably cost,
Right.
120 documents came out of that, the communication with the attorney, the amount of hours.
But
That
you
was a
can't-
very, very, very simple request.
But you said.
That's not a bot request.
You said you can't bill for legal.
Cannot bill for legal, we can bill for administrative time.
Fine.
And that's why we have that limit set by the state, what we can charge.
3 days worth.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so if we look at these discussion questions, is there anything in here that you, I don't
Yes, all the way
particularly
across.
have anything highlighted on this section, but if there's any, these are just things that maybe you're thinking about.
And the form is a new form that I created to go along with the policy. You can see the reference section there, by the way. But the form is new and it aligns with the policy very directly. What we'd like to see is that will keep it the most clear request, because the more detail people ask for, the more specific I can dig down and pick what you're looking for. If you just say, I want all the emails the board got, that's a ton of work.
By law, we have to honor a core request, right?
Unless
So
there's a
it is
legal reason
up
not to.
Yeah, so we do need to recoup these costs, because in theory, worst case scenario, somebody could Cora the town to bankruptcy. And just keep asking Cora after Cora after Cora.
Right.
Until we have no more money.
Correct.
So we need to recoup that cost.
Yeah. You want me to just go through the highlights, the top ones, or you're gonna get this in your packet again with the final? So.
I read through it, I didn't have any questions.
Okay,
Yeah, it's
Okay.
I like the form.
thank you.
Very formal. We're good.
Thank you.
Move on. Public participation, is that the next one?
Yes, so, I have done there's this citizen guide to participating, right?
Yep.
And so that's just a helpful tool. Then for this particular workshop, there's some discussion in here, right? So the one thing, when the water bill comes out, a summary of how to participate with the town is in here. And I think the biggest thing that I feel like, and you can cut in here if you want, that we really need to think thoroughly about and discuss is people can talk to you. I feel like sometimes there's that impression that citizens can't talk to you all. That's not the case at all, right? You can talk to people, you just have to be very careful about, you can't promise them something, you can't,
Set
you know,
policy.
you're one amongst 7. So bring it to the board. So the best thing that you can do in these cases, and it's in the one that I put on the back of the water bill, it's a kind of picture summary. It's very simple, right? And so at any time, and I will tell you, I talk to probably 5 or 6 citizens every day. So people have got my number, and now they're asking, today was a good one, like, every time I look out my front window, I see that guy's porta potty. That shouldn't be there. Okay, well, he's doing a kind of a construction project, so it actually has to be there because he's replacing a sewer line.
Yeah.
These are the kinds of discussions.
Would you rather watch him shit in his yard?
that I have a lot of. Can he move it?
No.
No. The project is almost over.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
But
so.
it is ugly, but just be patient.
Yeah, so there's, a number of ways, we talked about this last time, like if you have a lot of suggestions and you're here all the time and you want something to be different, run. So you can have some say in what happens. You could speak to me about any project. I mean, when we did the first thing on Riverside, I met with every one of those people individually. Right, so there's a lot of time when we do a big project that I get involved with because people call me and I want to make sure that they're heard or they know how to come here and be heard. And so I do a lot of that. I try to keep Fridays clear. I meet with Ethan on Friday, but the rest of the time so that I can do mail and focus and not get a whole lot of conversations. Fridays are kind of quiet, which is nice. But so people can speak with town staff anytime they want. They call Ann, they call Kelly, they call me, they call Danielle,
I get
depending.
lots of calls too.
Yeah. They can, in fact, talk to you guys before, but again, you can't promise them stuff. You have to say you're one of 7 people, and you don't, especially if it's a quasi judicial, like you're gonna vote on something. Well, I think, no, we're not, that's not where we are. These actual things have to be based on laws and not what you think as an individual, but as a representation for all of you, right?
Well, the other thing, if I could add one thing.
Sure.
We talked about this at the last board, pre-us. One of the things that I think is super important for cohesiveness, is the term disagree and commit. Like, the time to disagree is here when we're discussing things, right? And even if we have a 5-2 vote and it passes, the other 2 have to toe the line and commit, because that is the will of the board, right? So we have had trustees in the past that the minute they leave this room, well, I didn't agree with that. You're right. Like, stir the pot, stir the pot.
Yeah.
So it's
Hard in a small town.
it's really helpful to us as a cohesive, just chew it out here, disagree, bring up your points, but once we make a decision, we vote on it, and it's the majority vote, let's all be good citizens and commit to that and support it as we can. And not go out beyond these doors and just stir the pot.
Yeah. Yep. So attending workshops, like this is a great forum to see what's going on. They can't, they at least get an idea of the discussion that you're having, right? And that's the kind of important part. What are you guys actually talking about?
Yep.
And how are you thinking through this? So participating in advisory boards, we have lots of boards and commissions, parks, DCC, P&Z.
Yep.
So there's lots of places where you can fit in there. Written comments can always be sent to Kelly. Written comments will come to you in the packet, and then it is your duty to read those written comments, because otherwise the people don't get their voice heard.
And I think one of the things that, without giving away any names or specifics, Lee responded to one of our townspeople recently because we had kind of a, I would say, critical feedback / complaint in the meeting. And so we got an email about it, and Lee's sent a very measured response and said, your feedback is very appreciated, but what would be more appreciated is if you're noticing something, tell us 2 weeks before and not 2 weeks after as a Monday morning quarterback.
Right.
Yeah. And that is your responsibility as a townsperson to take part and be an active voice and participant, rather than waiting till after the thing and then saying, gotcha, you fucked up again. Bleep. Yeah, sorry. I'm sorry for those of you who have not heard that word, but it's a dirty word that don't use around kids. But I mean, to be honest,
true. Because I can do something,
but
right?
it's to the point where some people are being ridiculous.
Right, yeah.
So just everybody chill and be a productive partner, not a gotcha partner.
Right.
And to the structure of this statutory town thing and the point about disagreeing and committing as it relates to people being, I believe the word used was ridiculous, is each one of you represents 100% of Dolores. So that's why, like, you disagree whatever gets passed or not passed, it's done. You're not representing that one person. You're not representing everyone else who isn't here, who disagrees with that person, but isn't going to say it because they have better things to do.
Yeah, and let's be clear. I'm not saying any people were ridiculous, just some of the situations that come across
Yes,
there
okay, the one
can be
situation,
handled
yeah.
in a better situation. It
Yeah.
can just be handled better.
Yeah.
And that's why we talked about, like, and I'll wrap this up, I'm sorry, Lee. But that's exactly what the commissioner said at the last meeting, and I thought it was really interesting. They said, you know, we really need to, as a community, as a county, get young people involved, get a cross-section, Democrats, Republicans, you know, independents, get more people, because they said, no matter what town we sit in, whether it's in Memphis, Dolores, or Cortez, it's the same people with the same complaints, saying the same thing. And they never get a cross-section of the community or the county. So I think it really resonated, because all of the feedback that they get and we get in these meetings are really good, but it's not a cross-section of the town.
Right, right, which is why on the comprehensive plan, I tried to go to all the businesses.
Right.
Like Jake's typically gets a younger crowd.
Right.
And so I made sure I stopped in there a few times to get their
I mean, does
input.
Jake need to serve cocktails to bring people in? Like, I don't know what we need to do.
Right, yeah. So just to kind of wrap this up, the written comments, participating in public hearings is a big one, right?
Yep.
And we notice those so that everybody knows what's gonna happen, where it's gonna be, what time it's gonna be. Attending community engagement events. So this is one we tried to do last year, just like the commissioners do coffee with the commissioners or whatever. We did it twice. The first time 6 people came, the second time no one came. Is this something you all are interested in doing again? Because we could do it for the fall and create some time for people just to talk as a group about what concerns
Well,
them.
can I ask a silly question? Could it be something more casual, like it is at the bike hostel with the bar open, and we could just have a round table? Because I think this is a very sterile environment, which is fine. But I think when we have it on a Saturday morning in the whatever room, I think if we got it a little bit more of an exciting event, where we're like, hey, we're gonna have this at the bike hostel, in the outside, we're gonna bring some pizzas over from Marie, and maybe we get a little bit more of a turnout.
I don't see why not.
And you get a younger,
Yeah,
I mean,
or just a bigger cross section.
yeah, I mean,
yeah.
there's not gonna be like a limitation on venue, you know,
Yeah.
it's more, is it properly noticed? Are
Right.
there, you know?
That's all we would have to do.
That's it.
Because the first one we had was great, but there was literally like 6 people.
Right.
yeah.
I know the event MC for Escalante Days. I'm in really tight with him. And so if we want to put together a little, like, maybe I could talk to Mimi about carving out a little discussion time, little interview time where, like, I interview you or whatever, Chris, you come up, or Marie comes up, or Linnea, and we have a little conversation where people can kind of get an idea of what it's like to be a board member.
We could do a town boxing ring. Okay, bring it on. Bring your comments.
I
Let's
think
go.
that's called the dunk tank.
Bring your comments.
You gonna do UFC dome?
I'm happy to.
Yeah, where's Derek? You can have him hit
I'm happy to go toe to toe.
Trustee McCoy, you had something
Oh,
you're getting into?
I don't know, I had something, but you're talking about individually discussions with each one of us, or as a group?
No, it's a group. So the group of trustees are there in a casual
You
setting,
notice it.
and it's more of a chit chat.
What we do is just do it on the weekend so I can attend.
See, I'm saying don't do it on a weekend, because we've had it 2 Saturdays, we had less than 4 people turn up.
That's too early, man. Those were
The 9 a.m.
That's too
That's
early.
early.
Like in
That's
the
early.
evening or
Yeah.
afternoon.
With my job, I couldn't
Yeah.
attend half of them through the middle of the week. And then during the wintertime, I'm on snow plowing position, so I mean, that's a constant. I mean, that's part of my
You gotta
job.
do snowplow ride
Okay.
alongs for citizens.
All right. Keep moving.
Yeah, oh my God, what a great idea.
Yes.
When Bill's done.
Okay.
So we had comment, no, sorry, take that back, reverse. It used to be, when we had 2 business meetings a month, we had public comment, you know, in the beginning of each one. Well, you know, Can we do that again?
That's not up to me, that's up to
Well,
you.
I'm just gonna throw it out there.
Right.
So that during the business meeting, we'll have public comment like normal. Everyone's got 3 minutes. And then at the beginning of the workshop, we would have 3 minutes of public comment if anyone wanted to. And then we'd roll into the workshop. That would allow people the opportunity to maybe voice a concern or whatever, but then it would allow us to hear it so that maybe possible to get it on the agenda for the next business meeting instead of having to wait a whole month, because right now if someone comes and talks at the business meeting, it's another month before it, if it were to get on the agenda. I think
It
that's
would
a long time for
Probably
people to
still
wait.
be that same month though, because you have a voting meeting, which is the first one, and you have a workshop. So even if they have public comment, right?
Yeah, but at least I guess what I'm trying to get to is that we're hearing them.
Yeah, sure.
Right, because I
yes.
think people, yeah, you know.
Well, how many people who came tonight? People came tonight. Sorry, you can't talk about this one. That happened at the last one. Like people are trying to come and participate, but
It's a workshop.
yeah, and it's just a workshop. But maybe there's room and capacity to open that up for some public comment without it being a big deal.
I guess what I'm getting at is that if someone had a concern about something, they're going, oh, they're having a workshop, and I have my public comment time at the beginning.
Yeah.
Where I can say, I'm concerned about this, or kudos for that. And then once
Yeah, that'll happen.
I know,
Yeah, that'd be
never
great.
happens.
I would love that.
And then the workshop starts, and there is no public comment at that point.
Right. I think
You know.
the key to that is that we have to stay with the public comment. Like, this is the section that's carved out for that, and you get your 3 minutes. It's not engagement. That's where I see that we have the biggest conflict. For example, tonight it wasn't a public comment, it was I want to jump in and participate.
Right.
And that's where I feel like we get the biggest amount of pushback, is people want to participate in the board meeting. So I think as long as we still have very clear delineated public meeting segments like we do in the business meeting, that could be very successful. But reminding the group we have to stay really strong on the engagement.
We have to.
Because
That's not
I
a group
think,
project.
I think what I'm hearing from the conversation with citizens is that they're wanting to participate more in the discussions, not come with a prepared statement. It's
Right.
more like, while you're talking about fees, I want to talk about fees. And I think that's where we're having some of the impasse is,
Yeah.
I think you have a really good idea about the public comment, but I also think introducing some spaces where people can talk about it not in the meeting.
That's happening, you know, but I also hear too where people are like, you know, it's just a long time to wait. To me, it's a courtesy thing. What's it gonna hurt? They get the opportunity to speak before a workshop. They only get 3 minutes. We're not interacting. Once that's done, it's done. We do our workshop and, you know, it's just
It gives them a
courtesy.
chance to spend 7 years at the same time, which is unique to that. Like, they can't get all of our attention when they're out in town, but it gives them an opportunity for them to be heard by all of us at the same time, which I think that's
And I
a
think
nice offer.
And I think some are productive, but some of our public comment sections has, over the last year, turned into, I'm just gonna come in and beat the town up for 5 minutes every single meeting.
That's okay too.
I don't think it is. I don't think it is. It's very demotivating to the staff
Well,
to hear that they do a bad job and they're not working hard. And that's all they hear.
well, so I don't know, during everyone's 5 minute of fame, do board members address that? You know?
I mean, I
maybe
think we need some,
Someone might, I don't think you can censor people
no, you can't.
and say, hey, you can't say that.
No, but it's a good idea because then it means you're supporting us. Like at the last one, you know, I got accused of whatever I got accused of and then nobody,
Right.
it was just like silence. And
Yeah.
so it wasn't even a question of, you know, there's no way for me to address that, right?
It's
Right,
hard when you have a
right.
drive-by, which is like, you're
Yeah.
stealing funds, you're doing illegal things, and you're hiding stuff. It's hard when people do a drive-by, and you're like, where did this come from? And this is all inaccurate information you just put out in public. And you basically lied in public.
It is
And
really
we
hard.
can't say anything back.
So
So why don't we just do something like this, instead of putting a 3-minute period at the beginning, you know, like we usually do, let the public talk at the end towards the end of the meeting, that way they can hear all of our discussion of what we're talking about for that board meeting. That way when they come in for the next business meeting that we have, they have a clue what we discussed.
But the problem with that is, they're supposed to be coming in with their issues on
Their
what
issues.
the town is.
Yeah.
If you're moving it to the end of the meeting, what they're doing is arbitrating the meeting. Like, I didn't like what you said, or why didn't you do it this way, or whatever. They're supposed to be bringing like, hey, I need help with my property. We need to get better snow plowing. We need to do this. If we move it to the end of the meeting, they're just, it's a comment section of judging the meeting every time. I didn't like what you said. You should do it this way, and I'm not sure that's productive. That puts us on stage to be,
But would it hurt to do it just for a little bit, just to see what the outcome would be? Like do it one business meeting at the beginning, and then, like you said, at the workshop, put it at the last meeting, at the last part of it. That way your public stays and listens to what you gotta say.
I don't really know, I've
You
never
know,
seen
I-
that, so I.
so we're gonna be a popularity
No,
contest.
they only got
Like,
3
don't say
minutes.
anything
They
controversial.
only got 3 minutes to talk, and they gotta have something positive to say about what we're discussing.
So I got a couple of things on, several things that have been said, including the most recent. One, I've been talking to several municipal attorneys across the state about this particular issue, because weirdly, this thing kind of seemed to have the same timeline in a lot of different towns. In this past year or so, a lot of towns have seen the same type of sentiment about responsiveness and like kind of wanting, you know, faster response from the municipalities. When it comes to how you're gonna do it, I'll talk about the options at the next business meeting, but when you're talking about, you know, Linnea had a good point about, and I believe Chris did too, about, you know, some people just wanna be listened to and they wanna feel like they're getting the ability to be listened to quickly. The real question that I don't think really anybody, including the other town attorneys I've talked to, anybody really doesn't understand the answer to at this point is what actually solves the problem in terms of like the public sentiment. Because I can tell you when I have a private client and I learn enough about them, I can tell sometimes they may just want to talk, right? When you're dealing with kind of the selection of citizens who are willing to come in and take their 3 minutes, and there's this very specific type of complaint, there's a very specific type of citizen, generally speaking, or maybe a few different types. It's like, what is going to satisfy that need? And is it that they want to be listened to? Is it some other motivation? Like people, a bunch of different towns have tried a bunch of different things. And that's why I keep saying over and over again that each one of you represents 100% of the town, because you need to remember that when someone's up here saying that, you know, you got, you know, there's kids in the basement of the pizza place or whatever. Like, because that is the person that's in front of you. That is the person who has 100% of your attention. But what was the max turnout for an election that we've had?
221.
221. All right, we got almost 1,000 people in the town. You represent every one of those people who didn't vote too.
Right.
You represent even the percentage of people who come up here and say that they're eating babies in the basement of the pizza place. Every one of
All
those,
my secrets.
every one of those people is even a tiny outsized minority of the people who actually even vote. So it's not to say that they're not important or something like that, but it's what is a proportionate way to address this thing, because it seems way bigger than what it may be. And so you got to find something that you can live with, that's not going to take other time from you, that you should be doing work for the town, And remember that the work you do for the town that impacts all of the users of the town's facilities, amenities, water, whatever, is way more, just a way bigger part of your job than it is proving that there are not dead babies in the pizza place basement.
No, he's right.
I'm done.
So how do you approach that? I mean, I totally get it, you know, staff being under attack during someone publicly speaking. I mean, at that point, is it the mayor who says, or a town board member?
Maybe it has to be,
Any one
because
of
we've been really nice in giving the 3 minutes, but honestly, I'm so sick of people saying that the town is hiding money, we're spending money nefariously, we have bad hiring practices, we fired everybody. No, they retired. You know, so we have to cut off this bad information circuit.
In terms of what you can do, like I said, I've been talking to people, I've got some options that I've generated that I'll do in my report next, or 2 weeks from now, or whatever it is, or they're 5, whatever. The next time we're all here together,
Next
I'll do it.
business meeting.
Everybody that has done every option, these are all things that have been done by other towns.
Okay.
Everybody is kind of like, about it. You know, your guess is as good as La Hunta's, is as good as Montrose, is as good as Longmont's, is as good as Steamboat Springs.
Yeah.
And good luck.
Yeah.
Because if you do try to stifle them, oh Lord, Facebook's gonna explode. Because they're gonna go on and they told me, just like Sheriff Mellon, you're dismissed.
Yeah.
Adios,
Yeah.
muchacho. You know, we're done.
Well, even with
And
the
you
new
don't want
ordinance,
that to
they start out with the
happen.
trash removal, now they're calling it abusing the power, because everybody's wanting to adopt it. So it's like, okay.
So we
anyway.
could get to 2 comments. Man, that's fine for me if we wanted to add it in front of the workshop. I am strongly opposed to people arbitrating at the end of a meeting and saying, how did you do this meeting? And then just having 10 minutes of criticism of what we didn't do right. I don't think that's a productive use.
Well, and it's, you know, there's things that get said in meetings that get taken out of context and then repeated even several meetings later, let alone in the same meeting.
Right.
You know,
And I think this is one person's request. I don't think that's enough to change our policy.
What's that?
yeah, I think
After every meeting, they need public comment to talk about what we did and how we did it.
And from
Yeah.
what I've seen, there's some amount of support online for that, but again, only 221 people even vote, and that's the most that have ever voted.
Yeah.
I didn't
So-
do it after every meeting, I just said like one business meeting, you can keep
Test run
saying.
Yeah.
And then your workshop, like you want your public to respond, do after, and it might make them stay a little bit longer so they're in tune to what we're doing.
Bill, I think you're very optimistic about that.
Very.
There was one time when you know, when I was on school board, we tried that. We had a public comment at the end, and people became very upset because sometimes the meeting lasts a while. And they didn't want to wait, so then we moved everyone to the front so that they could speak, and then they could hang out if they wanted to, or they could go home.
Well, because we don't, to me at least, we don't want to move the public comment away from their comments on what they want and need and see. And if we move it to the end, all they're going to respond about is what they just saw in the meeting. And then we're not learning what happened. What do you need? Is there trespassers on your property, or is the river overflowing, or, you know, I don't know, whatever. I don't know.
Well, and remember that time we were running late and they got angry? Yeah.
Yeah,
Because we
5 minutes later.
were on the thing with Mangus.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Kelly has
I don't
something to
know.
say.
Yeah.
Well, I was just curious, is there a way we can set a policy about not discussing personnel issues in comment? And you're welcome to bring it up with the mayor separately or the attorney
Yeah.
separately, just because like
Yeah.
is there an exemption similar, like we can use an executive session to talk about personnel issues in a meeting? can we set an exemption for public comment? Like, you can't discuss personnel issues.
Because-
We don't take comments on personnel.
Because the other
You're
thing
welcome
is-
to bring that to the mayor after the meeting
Right.
or put that in writing, but we do not take comments on personnel matters because we've made
As
it.
long as there's an alternative
Yeah.
time, place, and manner to address the content, you can have a content restriction, right?
Oh, maybe that's.
So,
Yeah.
Because the other thing is, this is personnel files in somebody's life.
Right.
You
Right.
don't need to put out in the public why a person left the town or whatever. To be honest, it's nobody's business.
Right.
It's a personnel
But you
issue,
can't,
just like any company I've worked for, they wouldn't publish like, Chris left because of this reason or that reason. They just said they amicably left or they retired,
Right.
period. Because once it's out there, and if it's, let's say it was for a bad reason, somebody was stealing from the town or whatever, we can't have that in public because that is out there forever damaging this person. And it could have been something very small, but it wasn't the right fit. But we can't impinge people's reputation in
Right.
perpetuity.
That's why I'm wondering if we could say something like, if you have concerns or want to make comments related to personnel,
Yeah.
you may schedule a time with the mayor and the attorney
Sure.
between 5 and 5:30 to have your comments heard. But we do not take public comment during a meeting related to personnel
And we're still not
issues.
gonna give them private personnel information.
Right, but
Right.
just, I think, like, if you're the person sitting
Can't
here
do that.
and they're like, you know, they're talking about your work product, you know, I take a lot of pride in my work. I work really hard. And when people are questioning my work ethic and making it sound like I'm doing something wrong, I'm just like, fine, I won't do this. Because I don't want to sit here and not be able to defend myself. It's extremely hard to have people run your name through the mud and make it look like you're doing something you're not doing and not say anything. I would rather sit here and think, if you want to talk about me, you think I'm not doing a good job, please, you're welcome to talk to the appropriate person above me, but you should not be on
Right.
a public stage, on video, in perpetuity, talking about me, and especially saying things that are not factual. And I can't respond. If I'm allowed to respond, fine, but it's not fair for me to sit here and listen to people talk about me with no ability.
And let me add this, so, and I'll give you, without giving specifics, I'll let the trustees in. You know, after the last meeting, I thought there was a lot of really unfair comments, and Lee and I talked, and she said, you know, our town morale is really terrible right now, because we are working so hard, there's so many good things happening. Kelly has put in new systems, she has added filings and, you know, background to things where we didn't have any information. We don't have information from 2 years ago and stuff like that. And she's working really hard, and you know, Lee was telling me, our morale is horrible right now. And I'm like, as trustees, we also have to, we have to respect the town, but we also have to protect our town employees. And we can't just let them be beat up to the point where they start leaving. Because it's a really good staff.
Thank you.
So that's kind of where my impetus of this conversation is coming from, is that we have to love and respect the town, which we do, but to get beat up every meeting by a few people, and it's inaccurate information, and it's mean and mean-spirited, I'm drawing the line here.
Well, and I think, you know, I think we do. We make up the sign, it's by the clipboard.
Here's your parameters.
Here are the
Talk about
parameters.
your issues, town issues, but not personnel issues or slamming people personally.
And then,
Yeah,
and
no
then,
personal attacks, no personnel attacks.
Yeah,
right, and then you reemphasize that right before, like you've got your little
it's a great idea.
cheat card, and you
Yeah,
can,
maybe a cheat card.
you know, restate it right before people start standing up.
Yeah.
And if they do go into that field, then you slam the gavel down and say, no, we're not doing this now.
Okay.
As long
Yeah.
as you provide the alternative when you put in the limitations, because you can restrict the time, place, or manner.
Okay.
You can't restrict the content.
So you can say, you can email us this
Yes,
information,
exactly.
and we will respond to you.
Yes.
Okay.
Or, yeah,
Great.
I,
Got it.
I like that. And so, like, what does everyone think about the public speaking at the usual town meeting and then the workshop.
Yeah, I don't care. I like hearing from the town.
Yeah,
I mean, I like hearing
I
from
like
people,
it,
so
yeah.
it's fine for me.
Okay.
I like
They
it.
just wanna be heard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with the new
Yeah.
constraints, I think it's a.
I don't mind people's comments. I like it.
Go from 5 to 3, 5 minutes to 3 minutes. Was it at, set at 5 and
It was
then?
only because of the disastrous meeting that.
And it is the standard, 3
people were
minutes
laying
is the
into
state
when I was
standard.
on here.
That's when it changed?
Yeah.
I wondered, because I'd heard people grumble about that, and I was like, I did think it was 5.
Well, and somebody brought it up to me the other day, and I just said, listen, I get what you're saying, but I've never cut somebody off. If they ramble for 8 minutes, I will. I'll just say, okay, wrap it up or whatever. But I've not cut people off at 3 minutes for the most part.
Well, and to be fair, 90% of the state is 3 minutes. So we did discuss this at my, at my classes, and at least 90% of the state is that is considered the standard, because people become repetitive.
Yeah.
They either repeat what they're saying to get their point across because they're nervous, or they repeat the other speakers.
We can keep it at 3, and I
You know.
can like just be a little soft membrane.
Yeah.
If they're still making their point, great. If they're repeating, we'll say, wrap it up.
A lot of times people don't hit 3.
Huh?
Yeah, that's
exactly.
actually a long time.
It
Like,
is.
as someone who publicly
People
speaks
don't
for a
realize how
reason,
long
that's
that
a
I think it's okay. We want to hear people and what they have to say, but I like your ideas about the parameters.
Yeah,
Let's set that up in the beginning. I think the library actually does a good job, like when they say public comment, I can't remember who did it, but their chairman was like, she had a little speech at the beginning. Here's the public comment, here's the time, here's the parameters. And I thought it was really professional.
Yeah, I think that's good. And if you have it and it's posted back there and they can't remember, they can take a photo of it
That's right.
and,
I like that idea.
Yeah.
I think it's fair to everybody
too.
on both sides of the aisle.
okay.
I think so
Moving
too.
on,
I'm sorry?
moving on.
Moving on. So I think we've talked about how to hear, what we can do, ways people can get in touch with us.
Yep.
The one thing I would say, because we're gonna start to walk into more land use code issues and things that are what creates lots of discussion, right?
Yeah.
So when you have the opportunity to say, hey, we've already heard this piece, right? Because that's what was happening, is the same person or a different person, even in the family, would get up and talk about.
We did that during
the same
the farmer's market. It was great because all these people were up and I said, listen, I've had a lot of great
Right.
comments. If any of you are up with repeat comments, sit down. And like
Right.
8 people sat down.
So, right, so you have citizens that are coming here to advocate for what they want, right? To you as a board, and it's a good place to do it, because I get to say, I don't want a 35-foot tall building, or I don't want a place without a sidewalk, or trees, or rocks, or whatever, right? But keep in mind that the difference between advocacy and governance, right? Citizens are free to advocate for what preferred outcome they want, right? Trustees, once you're sitting here, have to shift into a governance role. That's that quasi-judicial thing that we keep talking about, right? And you must evaluate competing viewpoints, apply the law, because we have a lot of rules around all this stuff, right? And act on behalf of the entire town, which is so just keep that in mind. We'll be talking about some land use issues, just like we did at the last business meeting, at the next business meeting, so.
And I may have to take recesses, like we suggested before, if people get. I watched the meeting that you arbitrated, which was pretty heated. So if it gets that way, we're just gonna take a little 5-minute recess and let people breathe and then come back.
I thought Chris Gray did a really
No, he did.
great
He did
job.
great.
Like, that
I'm just saying it was a meeting.
probably the hardest meeting I've ever been in.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I
I'm not
thought,
saying he did anything wrong. He
No,
did a
he
great
did
job.
great.
It was just a lot of emotion and less facts.
yeah, absolutely.
Just to refer to, we all know which meeting we're talking about, because
Right.
that was the one.
We're-
Yeah. But
Okay.
Okay, anybody have any other?
No.
Is there, I think let's just talk for a second about the next workshop. We have a couple things that will be coming up, the budget and the sheriff's contract.
Okay.
And so are there other?
So are we having a roundtable like we did last time, where we're going through the budget?
I heard that. Was it like, oh God, I love that one.
Last time was really good laid out because you had a nice summary sheet,
We'll
which
do
is
it the
super
same way.
easy to to digest.
So that will be, the October workshop will be setting the budget. The preliminary work will be done at the beginning of October when the third quarter data comes in. I've asked the teams.
I'm out of town that night.
You are not. I already left. I was gonna say, I did ask all of our teams to have their budget
Maybe somebody will bring us pizza that day.
in by the 10th of October so that we will have that, but we do need to start making a decision on what we're doing with sheriff
Right.
prior to the October budget meeting. Because if we discuss budget October workshop, we have just enough time to get through the November and December meetings and get it approved and the mill levy passed. So the
Okay.
October
Should we
meeting
workshop
is our
it
last,
next month?
Well,
Workshop.
for sure.
Yeah, we certainly can. Yeah, there's been I'm trying to get some statistics around, it's hard to read the calls report because you can't tell really what's going on there, right? So if I call in and it's a dog at large and I don't show up for 2 days, it goes in there, there's all these big giant minute amounts and what is going on? So you can't really figure out what's going on in that
Yeah.
report. But I'm looking at the stuff that says, okay, when we had 0, 2, 1, what does that look like in terms of recovering, working on speed limit, working on stop signs, working on things that everybody in town seems to want. And so those are the kinds of things. Are there other stuff that you want to look at
I mean, at
besides
some
that?
point,
Yeah.
I
some
want
point.
to talk about, we're in August right now, almost.
Right, yep.
I mean, we keep talking about Christmas decorations, holiday
Oh, sure.
decorations.
We need to knock
What are we
that
gonna do
out
for
too.
the town?
September.
Huh?
September, I think.
Okay,
Talk about
okay.
sheriff in August and.
Okay,
Christmas
September,
in
we can put that
September.
on the workshop. Because we can't go buy another holiday where we're like, oh,
Right.
forgot.
I know it.
I'm already buying more flags, let me tell you. You've got that.
If we need to do a fundraiser, we'll have a couple months to fundraise.
Sure, yeah.
Everybody throw,
Yeah.
how do we incentivize businesses to
I have
decorate?
giant ideas around that, and my team shut them all down. I
Oh.
wanted to build a house, a 500 square foot house, and then we would decorate the house, and you'd go in the house, and you'd see all kinds of cool Christmas stuff.
Mm.
But they were like,
Great.
Do you have
no.
insurance for that?
Can Carly substitute me for those meetings?
I think we do a
Sure.
Christmas decorating contest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I said this last year, I will donate gift card or.
I'll come and help you decorate for
Whatever.
Halloween. Let's
Okay.
put some things in the windows.
One thing I'd like to see is community involvement.
Yeah.
Because one
I'll
of
sit
the
up there
hardest
with
parts for
my
us is that
clown.
there's only 8 of us total and we're all full-time tapped. So,
Yeah.
right, like Lee's like, can you build a house out of life? We're like, when would you like that to happen? And so I would really like to see some of our efforts focusing on either, like on community involvement and volunteers for some
Yes.
of these activities. Because as if you've been on some of the committees for Easter or, it is a ton of work and
Yeah.
it's time consuming and it's a lot to ask the 8 people who are already doing all the other projects, budgets,
We
this,
need
that,
to
and
be
the
able
other.
to-
When we have
Right.
the Christmas decoration or holiday decoration, we need to bring the chamber in with us and see if we can do something communally. The other thing I was gonna say is,
Also need to budget.
huh?
We need to budget.
Yeah, the other thing I was gonna say is, and I don't wanna, it's Linnea's favorite subject, I know, because I've listened to it for 5 years. What do you think I'm gonna say?
Snow.
Snowplow. Yeah,
Yeah.
so, should we, at some point in November, put this on a workshop, like, do we have anything to still discuss?
About
The
snowplow?
voodoo meteorologists say it's gonna be a heavy winter, so
Yeah.
I just wanna, do we have anything discussed? Snowplow's working, we have an action plan, it's all good.
We do have all of those things.
Okay.
We can
Just
put it in
checking.
the packet for review if you
Okay.
see something that you want. You have concerns, but it should be a plan.
Okay,
My beef isn't with the town.
I didn't say it was a beef, I said it's a subject that's near and dear.
Let's see
Mine's
that.
with the
See
CDOT.
that, yeah.
Oh, damn.
I know.
All right, it's 7:44, workshop closed.
Thanks.
Linnea has,
Hey Lee, I was past there.
you know, faster.
Yeah, not a bad thing, I mean,